Evening, everyone. It's Thanksgiving evening at 6:45, and I usually don't do a video this late, but I thought there were a couple of things that definitely should be mentioned, aside from wanting you to subscribe. I want to go over a couple of things. It's actually a pretty quiet evening vis-a-vis the markets, but I did want to point out, excuse me, what has happened to Bitcoin since the market closed yesterday. Uh, Bitcoin has moved from a high of 19,605 on Wednesday morning to a low of 16,230. It was closed at 16,680, which was down $2,235, or just under 12%. And as you can see here, it has come back up a bit. It's about mid range on the day, but still down almost 1,800 points. So still over 9%. We came right down here to this 20-day moving average. This is the 5, this is the 20, this is the 50, the 100, and the 200. So it could fall back a bit. But if you recall, in my last several pre-opening and closing comments, as well as in the daily note, I've been looking for it to pull back. My initial point of pullback was to up right around where we are now, which was about 2,000 points off the high. And next time where it last broke out to the upside, which is almost exactly where it stopped, it broke out a little above 16,305, and today's low is 16,230. I think that we could continue down, but at this point, with this kind of a liquidation, I'm not sure that it won't, sit here for a day or two and move lower. I'm also not sure that it won't just turn up and run. It has in the past had these big sell-offs, like here, where it went from 12,000 and change to just under 10,000, and it sat there for a couple of days, started up and consolidated and turned higher. We had the same thing here. Let me expand this just a little. We had the same thing here where we had a collapse. This was COVID related time wise, although I have very little idea what COVID and Bitcoin have in common. But as you can see, we had a big flush to the downside, a couple of days of consolidation, and then we just started back up again. This is also very common in the metals, especially the gold, where it will have maybe the market will be bad, and it has really nothing to do with the gold, but yet the gold does move down because there's massive liquidation of assets. So, when you have a massive liquidation of assets, it doesn't matter. None of it is correlated to itself. People sell. There's an old adage that if you can't sell what you want, sell what you can. And very often we see that. Here's a move from a contract high of over 2,000 and a move in basically 3 days to 1875. I mean, that's pretty massive. And yet it had a reversal day and went right back up. I mean, we go from 2075 down to 1875, and then in 3 days we're back above 2000 again. So not really terribly uncommon. The reason that I mention it is because our proxy for Bitcoin, for those who can't trade futures, and this is just another example of what you can do with futures that you can't do with either stocks or options. But as you can see, I mean, we had pretty major moves. So that's just the point. GBTC, as I said, which is Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, closed at 2087, down $1.49 on Friday. I'm hoping to see it down around 18 or 18 and a half, and I will add 250 shares, or roughly 1/3 of my normal position in it, right back in. Okay, just a quick update on a couple of other things. Asia looks like it's unchanged to slightly lower on the pullback in the energy stocks. And I'm just going to go back to the main screen here. Energy, which was up massively in the last couple of days, is cooling off just a little bit. Really not very much. It's down 78 cents here, and in the last couple of days, it's done nothing but break out here above this high of 4306, which I mentioned several times in both pre-opening, closing, and daily note work. As soon as we went through that, we immediately we closed through it the first time here at 4306. The next day we were up $1.85. The next day we were up another 80 cents. So we moved from just over 43 to just over 46 in basically 2 trading days. Kind of quiet tonight on the lows, but it wouldn't surprise me at all to see it, try this 43 and a quarter area again before turning back up. A couple of stocks I just want to mention. GE, first time in a very, very long time. The 50 and 200 day are crossing. That is monumental for GE, considering that it hasn't had even the opportunity of seeing that kind of a sustained move where the 50-day is actually even turning up at all. So I'm very pleased. We have a position in it in the big account. I've written against it. Here you go. This is the daily. These are the 5 days. And the 50 and 200 is right here. This is the cross. And since we've had that cross 2 days ago, we've gone basically straight up again. So GE, which was a huge turnaround, or is a huge turnaround after being down forever. This is also partially from a fundamental point of view. This is has a great deal to do with Boeing. Remember that GE has an aircraft engine division, and if Boeing's going back to work, GE's people are going back to work. There was another one. Here's I'm going to go over 3 that we are in. BlackBerry is a little overbought, but what we're looking at here, let's go with a weekly. What we're looking at here is a consolidation since February. It followed the rest of the market down, but it actually has not had that kind of run. But what it has had is a really nice consolidation, bordered by 584 here, a little lower here at 566, and then right here, which was the end of last week, 577, and it closed at 591 on Wednesday. And frankly, $6 is a breakout on another type of chart, which is called the point and figure, and it uses only round numbers. And we've had big reversals. We've gone from 5.5, basically down to 4.5, and then back to 5.5, and then back to 440. Same thing, little double bottom. Even though we have this falling 100-day MA coming through at 6.25, we're in the $5 options for December, and we paid 74 cents for them. Excuse me. They just They finished the day at 98 cents on Wednesday, so pretty decent as far as how it's been moving. I mean, we are up 30–40% on them, but I'm certainly not a seller unless we stop going up. Workday is the other one that we are in right here. This one was getting beaten up mercilessly. I want to go back to the daily and have you look at it a little closer. Basically, we were down hard day by day by day, and then we got long here. We got long around 208 relative to where the stock was. The next day, the stock made a slightly higher low and made a higher high and closed up there. And then on Wednesday, we actually opened down a bit and then went through the previous day's high and closed about 3/4 up on the range. This would not surprise me to move back up to where it broke down from, or this little gap that it left between 222.45 and 223.46. So let's just call it 245 and a half, 230, pardon me, 225 and a half. We are in the two, let's see, we are in the 220 calls, and we paid $1.92 for them. They've been over $3, and they closed Wednesday at 268. The other one is UNG. It's our only other position right now in options, that is. And UNG is the ETF for nat gas. We bought them in here. After we came down, we got stuck on the long side before. We came down and looked like we were trying to go higher, and then gapped down on a big build overnight, a big build in inventories, and the stock never recovered. Now it has made this low. It jibes with these lows, which was a turn where it got back up. Then we came back down here and closed on the high and started back up. So I'm looking forward to this moving up, let's just call it, to where it broke down from, which would be about 11 and a half. We are in these options, the UNG options, and we're in them at 39, and they closed at 58. If I could get 70 or 75 cents for these, I would probably be gone, and it would be a really nice trade. All right, everyone. I hope everyone had a really pleasant holiday, and that you were safe. And I'll be back first thing in the morning with my pre-opening comment.